Before we begin this week's edition of the Sportsgasm podcast, we'd like to take a moment to pay our respects to Dwayne Haskins, the young potential field quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers, who tragically passed away this past week after being involved in a car accident. Dwayne was a graduate from Ohio State who was a standout there, drafted by the Washington Redskins, where he was a member of their team for several seasons before being traded to Pittsburgh. Very young, only 24 years old, potential filled. Our hearts and our thoughts, our prayers, and our hearts go out to his family and his friends during this difficult time, and to the entire Pittsburgh Steelers family. I know, as all of us being, living in the Washington area and being, whether or not we want to admit it, kind of fans of the Commanders, sometimes it is hard to lose a member of the family. So we just want to take this moment for a brief moment of silence before we begin the podcast to honor Dwayne Haskins. Thank you, guys. If you guys have any remarks on it, the situation, go ahead before we begin our main episode.
Yeah, man, it's tragic. It's sad. It's a sad thing. Young guy. He's from our area. I got a lot of friends who knew the guy personally, so it affected them a lot. And it's just a sad thing to see because he was our age, and not only that, he's still young in the league, growing to the league. It looks like he was growing a little bit more. He started out in the league with a whole bunch of crazy nonsense and stuff like that. I don't think Washington ever gave him the correct chance he should have really got. But, looked like he was growing and was going to become a really great talent in this league. Never really got the chance to really experience that because of the tragic situation that happened. But I do send my deepest condolences to his friends, family, everything of that nature. It's very, very sad, and want nothing but to pay my respects.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember when I went to the Eagles Washington game on December 15th. I'm pretty sure it was Haskins' rookie year, 2019, and he played pretty well against us. And since then, I have been rooting for his success because I know, the NFL is crazy. So,
going back to before we go on to the next subject, this jersey right here says a lot too, because it says Redskins on it. You'll never be able to get this again.
Never.
Yeah. And then on top of that, this is the first Redskins apparel I've bought since probably 2012. So,
wow.
He's got my last Redskins purchase ever.
Absolutely. Wow. Yeah, I mean, we go to the Dick's Sporting Goods now, and they have Theismann jerseys. You don't even see the Redskins anything on there. It's just a Theismann jersey.
Yeah.
So even if they remade the Haskins jerseys for sale, you wouldn't see it on there.
Yep.
Well, that we dedicate this episode to the family and friends of Dwayne Haskins and to Dwayne Haskins himself. With that being said, let's jump into today's episode. Yes. Welcome back to episode number, I think, 13 of the Sportsgasm podcast. I'm going to guess it's 13. It's something the podcast. Yeah, something like that. It's the podcast made by fans for the fans, because we believe we are the most qualified to talk about our favorite teams, even if we're not really. I'm your co-host, Isaac.
I'm Kylee.
And we are joined once again by our sports betting genius and frequent podcast collaborator, Calvin. What's going on, man?
How you guys doing, boss? Hey, before we get started today, I just want to shout out to you guys, man. First, for having me on the podcast a couple times now, so I really appreciate that. Another thing, though, because I've seen you guys grow from, I remember when you guys first made your Twitter and you guys were at like 4 followers, and now it's at like 300 plus. So
we just got another follower while you were saying that.
Hey, that's a beautiful thing. Shout out to you guys and your platform that's growing. And I can't wait to see how big it actually can turn into.
There's nowhere to go but up, and that's what we're trying to do. We appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir.
So today's episode is a bit of a somber one. Is right before the intro, we did talk about Dwayne Haskins, but let's start off this episode by talking about all the craziness that happened in the first official week of baseball. It's time for our opening week recap. Kylee, you want to take it away? What are some of the highlights that we had from opening week?
So I was actually at this game, and Schwarber smacked his first home run and his first hit as a Philly. The crowd went insane. Opening day is a beautiful day. And then, it capped off with a pretty good win. And then you weren't there, but you were watching. Rizzo had his homer.
2.
He did have 2 home runs.
Yep. Rizzo saves the Yankees in the first 2 games of our series with the Red Sox. Coming up very clutch. My Yanks are off to a good start. We kind of struggled a bit in the first game against the Blue Jays, but we got back on track last night. It's been good. It's been fun. I'm really liking the rotation we got so far. I want Nestor Cortez to pitch every night now, but even though I know that's not possible, but oh my God, that man, there's a reason they call him Nasty Nestor because oof. Let's see what else we got. Our first big comeback of the go ahead, Calvin.
A team that's really impressed me in the first couple of days is the Guardians. They put up 10 the last 2 nights.
Mm-hmm.
And they got that guy, Stephen Kwan, that rookie who
hey, he's killing it right now.
I'm very concerned. I'm looking at the schedule like, so how many times do the Yankees have to play Cleveland this year? Do we have to play them that much?
Right.
Yesterday he was hitting like 714, I believe.
Something like that.
Oh my God.
Something like that. I again, like, why do we have to play the Guardians so many times this year? Why?
You're in the AL, bro. That's how it be.
The AL is looking to be stacked this year. The AL Central actually looks like it's competitive for once. The Guardians look good. The Twins look good. The Royals actually looked surprisingly good, even though they did play Cleveland and got whooped a couple of times.
Brewers have been a disappointment.
Yeah.
They're on the ban list for parlays. Done. Finished.
Brewers have been slightly disappointing. The Cubs have been and Kylee, I think you have you had a hot take that's already gone
I did, and it's looking like
cold.
It's gone to crap. And
what happened here?
Seiya Suzuki has had 3 home runs so far, and he's batting like, let's see, his batting average is insanely high. And I want to take this time to announce that I am retiring from hot takes. I
After
will
just
no
one?
longer. No, dude, it's been years. I have had so many hot takes that have just like gone to crap. Every single one.
I mean, to be fair, you have to understand when you have a Japanese outfielder with the last name Suzuki, he's going to be good no matter what. Okay,
Yeah.
The precedent has been set with Ichiro, but I'm glad to see that because that means that the Cubs are good again, which means baseball is good. There was also, I think we have an early contestant for Game of the Year. So this is going to be a fun one for you two, Philly and Mets fans here. Let's talk about that Phillies comeback against the Mets.
It was fun. I hated watching it for the first 8 innings. And then somehow we came back from 4-0 and won 5-4.
Let me say something about that, though. I'm not surprised the Phillies came back because there was a time, I don't know if it was last year or the year before that, but I had picked the Phillies to win in a sports bet. They're down 7-0, 7th inning. They came all the way back and won this game 8-7. And I was like, this is phenomenal. This is crazy. So when they did it the other night against the Mets, it didn't really surprise me, but it was disappointing because I had actually tweeted to Kylee when we were up 2-0, and I was like, should have bet you on this game right here. And then next thing I know, Mets lose.
And then I retweeted that, and I was like, "Can we? Is it still on the table?"
There have been a lot of exciting comebacks so far this first week. I know the Blue Jays were down 7 in their home opener against the Rangers and came back to win 10-8. The Diamondbacks came back against the Padres on opening night. I remember watching that. That game actually annoyed me because Yu Darvish had a no-hitter going into the 6th, and then they pulled him right after I tweeted about it.
You should have known to not say anything, dude. That's like.
Well, why not keep him in?
It's the only unwritten rule that's actually valid.
Just can we just get a no hitter for once?
Basically, what happened there was, as soon as you tweeted that, somebody in Vegas saw it and was like, "Get him out of there."
Yep.
Oh.
Too early. They're like, it's too early. You can't have a no-hitter and opening day.
Yeah. Speaking of that Blue Jays Rangers game, Texas did get their revenge. They came back and they won another the second game of that series, 12-6.
Yep.
There have been a lot of blowouts too. One of the most unexpected, I think. Oakland defeated Tampa 13-2. This is an athletics team that, Kylee, you saw them in person. This is an athletics team that's very clearly tanking.
Yeah.
And they completely destroyed one of the better teams in the AL East. As a Yankees fan, I'm not complaining.
Right. But as a Florida
Oakland.
man,
as a Florida sports fan, I'm concerned. That's like, come on, Tampa, but like, yeah,
conflicted.
Better than them, and it's good. Look, I don't have any connection to the Rays. Okay, they're the one Florida team I have no connection to at all.
I feel like that's every Florida person.
Probably.
Because it sucks for the Rays because they're consistently good and they just don't draw anybody.
Well, their stadium is complete garbage.
That's true.
If you've ever been to the Thunderdome, and I'm going to call it that because that's what it should be. It should be the Thunderdome, what it was. If you've ever been to the Thunderdome, it's a dump. The place still uses AstroTurf. It's got girders all up in the ceiling that balls keep bouncing off of and getting stuck up there. It's so bad that they legitimately thought we should go play half of our games at Montreal. Montreal's ballpark, Olympic Stadium, is even worse. And they were like, you know what? That might be worth it. They were willing to take that risk to play in Montreal. And every time that they keep trying to get a new stadium, they want a new stadium in Ybor City. They want it so it's actually in Tampa and not all the way out in St. Petersburg. But they can never come to an agreement on it. And it's because, the city of Tampa is like, well, what have you done for us? You guys have like no fans. Interesting. It was like, even when the Rays win over 100 games and go into the playoffs, they can barely get the stadium full for playoff games.
Yeah.
And playoff games against a division rival in Boston. It makes no sense.
They've been to 2 World Series.
Yeah.
14 years apart, but.
And both of those World Series, one of those World Series, they got manhandled. But the other one, they actually could have won that thing had their, manager not made dumbass decisions back in I'm still not over that. That was the Dodgers.
I like 2008 though.
Of course you do. Of course.
But the Astros did unveil their City Connect jerseys. And it sucks that this team has essentially been canceled for cheating because those uniforms are amazing.
It's crazy. I was just about to say the Astros look good this year too. 4-1 to start the season.
I don't know. I don't know what team you're talking about. That team doesn't exist to me. There's a team in Houston. This is news to me. I'm sorry. As long as Astros, whatever. Opening week. Pretty fun. By the way, for any Nats fans who are watching, sorry. And Orioles fans too, sorry.
Speaking of the Orioles, they did change their ballpark a little bit. They moved the left field back a little bit.
I didn't really notice it, and I watch Orioles games pretty much nonstop at work because it's the only sporting event on during the day, and when you're working a full day, like 12-hour shift, there's not much to do but just sit and watch Orioles games. I didn't really notice it, but I guess that shows just how good Camden Yards is, that when they make changes, you don't notice it because it's just so perfect.
I really do like Camden Yards, and it sucks that the Orioles are not good because their stadium is amazing.
On the other hand, though, the Orioles not being good means that you can get tickets for the cheap. And Camden Yards is one of the few stadiums where nosebleeds are just as good as getting up close and personal.
Yep. I think I went to a game last year for about $20.
I was trying to do that this upcoming weekend, but plans changed.
That's expensive. Did you sit front row?
Oh, say that again. Sorry.
I said that's expensive. Did you sit front row?
Yeah, I was right behind the dugout. I was actually looking at this Phillies got 2 on base right now. I'm not liking that.
2 straight walks.
These two are watching baseball here. How does it feel to have your teams play baseball at normal hours and not have to wait till 7 p.m. every night?
Feels fantastic. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, exactly.
I could be spending my days when I don't have to go into work super late. When I'm not working the night shift, I'm basically just stuck at home all day, just doing errands and like stuff around the house. You know what would be nice? To have baseball, and so I could watch the Yankees, beat the Blue Jays. But no, I got to wait till 7 when I'm at work and it's busy.
I think I like the Blue Jays to actually take you guys tonight.
I don't know. They got us in game 1, but after game 2, we kind of shaped up in game 2. We remembered how to hit next.
You guys definitely looked good yesterday.
Our bullpen has been killing it. Bullpen has been killing it. And I know it's really early. I know we've only played 5 games, but our bullpen is looking really, really good. And that's given me hope because that's been an issue the Yankees have had the past couple of years. We haven't had that reliable pitching, you know, but it's getting good. Like Aroldis Chapman is on another level this season. And it's very
every time I pitch with him in MLB The Show, I am garbage every single time.
It's clear that you have not unlocked the Chapman method, which is the Chapman method. Imagine that the opposing batter is somebody from your controversial and kind of surprisingly really scary past from Cuba. You should look that up. Aroldis Chapman's past when he was in Cuba is concerning. You just imagine it's someone and you try to take their head off.
Like Castellanos, speaking, he just walked. Like Castellanos, imagining the baseball is Rob Manfred and smacking a home run.
All Castellanos just has to do is let somebody in the dugout tell him if there's a tragedy occurring on news or somebody screwed up, and he's like, my time has come. It's time to shine. Like, okay, I know this is a tangent. So yesterday, comedian Gilbert Gottfried passed away. Rest his soul. He was hilarious. Yes. Great part of my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Kylee, you and I were at work. We were both convinced that Castellanos was going to hit a home run if they announced it.
I that's
like
that's
how paranoid we are.
Like the first time that hasn't happened.
We are so paranoid.
His first hit as a Philly in spring training was when they were apologizing for a DUI.
Yeah. Like every time now a tragedy happens or an announcer says something they shouldn't, like we are paranoid that, during the Phillies game, Castellanos is going to hit a fly.
Well, I'm not paranoid.
I am.
I'd like to see it happen.
So Kylie, you wanted to give us a rundown of the stat leaders through the first week?
All right. So it's only the first week.
Right 3 on base right now. I don't like it.
So it's only the first week. So these are kind of like, I'm going to ignore the ERA and I'm going to ignore the quality starts. Just happened. There's a whole bunch of leaders in 0 ERA and 1 quality start for pitching. So for the stat leaders in batting, for batting average, we have Ian Happ of the Cubs with the 700 batting average. For home runs, it's a 3-way tie with Nolan Arenado, Saya Suzuki, because of course, and Byron Buxton.
Who?
They all have 3.
Who's Byron Buxton?
He plays for the Twins. He's been amazing.
Apparently he has. Okay.
RBIs, Jose Ramirez from Cleveland with 11.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then hits, we got, of course, Wander Franco with 11. Stolen bases, we have Luis Robert of the White Sox with 4, which is kind of crazy, 4 stolen bases already. And then for pitching and wins, we have a 3-way tie again with Miguel of the Mets. I don't even know how to say his name, of the Rockies.
Julius Chachin?
Yeah. And Steven Wilson of the Padres. They all have 2 wins. Like I said, all of the ERA, a lot of pitchers have 0 ERA. Saves, we have Ryan Presley, Taylor Rogers, and Jordan Romero. They all have 3. Strikeouts, we have Carlos Rodon and Jesus Luzardo with 12. And a lot of, again, like I said, a lot of players have quality starts. 1 quality start. So
if you ever want to make some easy money in baseball, you Wander Franco 1 hit.
Yeah.
Easy money.
Yeah.
One of my bets every day.
I placed a bet, 3 different bets for the first time ever because I was in Philadelphia where it's legal to do that on the app. And I bet on the day before yesterday's game. And I bet Castellanos, Harper, and Alonso would have home runs. Not all together, but separately, one of them would have a home run. I got them all wrong.
Yeah, those are tricky. Those are real tricky. It's very hard to say who's going to come out and hit a home run that day. But it's like, for a guy to get a hit, it's like, dude, this is your job. You can't give me 1 hit. When I see guys go 0 for 4, 0 for 5, I'm like, are you serious? You get paid to do this.
Gosh. That's me watching Isaiah Kiner Falefa and Aaron Hicks every night. Like, how much do we give up to the not the Twins? Is it the Twins? Yeah. How much do we give up to the Twins for you guys to not hit. Like, it's frustrating.
Yeah, it's very frustrating.
Well, I think we can
Baseball
all agree this,
angers
though.
me sometimes.
It does anger me. And I think we can all agree, though, we are glad that it's back to anger us. And, oh, man, this first week has been great. Can't wait to be to be following closely. I think
Speaking of anger me, you guys don't know how good Max Scherzer is?
How good is Max Scherzer?
Bases were loaded with 1 out. Innings over. It's still 0-0. Shut up, Calvin.
All right, enough baseball before you two start tearing each other apart over the internet. Let's talk about some basketball because last night the NBA play-in tournament began. The season is over for all of you who didn't make the playoffs. Get the hell out, especially you, Lakers.
Calvin.
Especially you, Lakers. Play-in tournament began last night. Brooklyn smashed Cleveland, unfortunately.
No, they almost blew a 21-point lead.
They did, though. That's the crazy thing. I'm just now looking at the result at the final. I'm like, oh, that is a lot closer than it was when we were watching.
Yeah, I got really excited because it was like down to 4, and so I was like, I had my eyes glued to the TV. No,
it was pretty rough. The other game, the Timberwolves, for the first time since 2004, won a playoff game. They beat the Clippers.
I told people before that game started last night too. I was telling all my friends. I was like, I really like the Timberwolves tonight, guys. I don't know why, but I really like the Timberwolves tonight. Like, I just don't think, even with Paul George back, I don't think the Clippers have enough.
I mean, the Timberwolves are young. They're very, very talented. They have a great core with Karl Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell, this dude is insane.
Anthony Edwards too.
And Anthony Edwards especially. Like those three are just like on another level together.
Yeah, I really like the Timberwolves. Who do they play now since they are the 7th seed? Grizzlies? Oh.
Yeah, they play the Grizzlies.
Go ahead and wrap their season up. Grizzlies are hot. I like the Grizzlies. I like Grizzlies Suns Western Conference Finals right now.
That probably is what's going to happen. And that actually, it takes us a good transition to our next part, which is our official look at the playoffs. The last play-in games, by the way, are tonight. Pelicans face the Spurs and Hawks face the Hornets. Just quick, who do you guys have winning those games?
I'm a big Hornets fan.
Hornets?
You said Pelicans, Spurs. I like the Pelicans. And Hornets play who?
The Hawks.
I really want to say the Hornets, but you just don't know because Trae Young can come out and give you 60 on any given night.
I will go with the Hawks to win, although I'm against you guys. I actually want the Hawks to win because I want to see the chaos of Trae Young having to play against Philly again.
I said from the beginning that I want Toronto or Atlanta in the playoffs. We're facing Toronto.
Yeah, you got Toronto.
Give me Atlanta in round 2. See what happens.
I'll take Pelicans over the Spurs because San Antonio just doesn't strike me as a team that belongs here.
Yeah.
No offense to the Spurs, and I know it's weird because I know in previous episodes we talked about how the Spurs have basically been to the playoffs every year that we've all been alive. But yeah, no, the Spurs team just doesn't feel like it. Just doesn't have the oomph that previous Spurs team did. Speaking of the actual playoffs, the grid has been set outside of the 8 seeds, which will be decided in the coming days. So let's take a quick prediction. Miami and Phoenix were the 1 seeds, so we'll skip over them. But we'll start with the East. Philly versus Toronto. Who you guys got in the first round?
I like Philly.
I don't comment on my teams.
I mean, the reason I like Philly, everybody knows it. Everybody that actually knows basketball knows it. They have the MVP over there.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys, they got the MVP hands down. He can give you 40, 10, and 10 on any given night.
This is why we have you on the podcast, Calvin.
Yeah.
Then you also have James Harden there. And James Harden, he's been very disappointing to me in the last couple weeks, scoring-wise. But if you can get me 20 points out of James Harden plus another 15 out of Maxey and 30 plus out of Joel Embiid every night, I don't see anybody messing with those guys on Toronto. OG Anunoby and Siakam just won't be enough.
I am going to agree with Calvin. I will take Philly. I mean, I predicted Philly was going to win it all, and I still think that Philly will win it all this year. They are just so stacked. They really should be the 1 seed, but the East was so competitive towards the end that, anybody.
And we kind of shat the bed a little bit.
A little bit. I know the Sixers have an issue with blowing leads. Kylie can comment on that later. But like you said, Cal, the Sixers just have so many weapons. You find a way to stop James Harden. Well, you got the MVP. You got Embiid there. You find a way to stop Embiid. Oh, here's Maxey, who's been tearing it up this year. Shout out to Kylie for that really nice edit she made about Maxey. That's awesome.
Tobias Harris, great role player.
Yeah, I was going to say, Tobias can get you a quiet 30 points.
This Sixers team is stacked. They have not only the power in the starters, but the power of their depth to go far.
No,
and
this is a bench's ass.
The only person that concerns me that sits in their starting lineup, I don't know if he's still in their starting lineup, but is Matthias Thybulle. That guy there, I just can't stand him.
Matisse can't play in Toronto. He's not fully vaccinated.
Ooh.
Oh, well, then I'll give you guys a series 4-0.
So you got Danny Green in the starting lineup.
Danny Green. Okay. There's a veteran presence there. I like Danny Green. Toronto's a good team, but this season, so I had a lot of members of the Raptors on my fantasy basketball team, and there's a reason that I only won 8 games and got trashed. It's because they all got hurt. This is a Toronto team that's been really hurt by injuries this season, so give me Sixers winning this one. Moving on. The defending champs, the Bucks, take on the Chicago Bulls.
Can they win in 3? Because that's probably what's going to happen.
I hate it because I really was hoping that the Bulls would be the team to beat in the East this year.
Yeah,
giving
me too.
Flashbacks to Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
It would get my dad to start watching basketball again because he's a Chicago fan. But
I like Bucks in 4. Give me Bucks in 4. Give me Philly in 5, just because there might be a game where Philly just doesn't come out of this Philly.
Watch it be the first game too.
I'll take Philly in 6 because I have a feeling that the Sixers are going to struggle a bit at first, but then get in a groove. I'll take Milwaukee in 4. The Chicago team has just been ravaged with injuries this year, much like the Raptors, to the point where honestly, like the Bulls, the Bulls should have been a 3 or a 4 seed, but decided it's just been so rough for them. I mean, just barely making it out of the play. Yeah. And I think they'll play tough, but this Milwaukee team has been special. Giannis is playing insane as always. Eric Bledsoe's been great. Milwaukee, easily.
Yeah.
Our final game for the East for the first round. Pick your poison. Boston versus Brooklyn.
Boston. Yeah. I will root for Boston any day for Brooklyn.
You can pull the tweet facts up, but everybody knows that I am a big Jason Tatum fan right after LeBron, so I'm rocking with Boston.
Mm-hmm. I'm rocking with Boston, but I'm 99% sure Brooklyn's going to win.
I like Boston in 7.
I think Brooklyn will take it in 7. I think that
it's going to go to 6 or 7.
It will go. Yeah, no, it's going to go. It's going to go the distance no matter what happens. I would like to see Boston win.
Yeah.
But I think Brooklyn's going to take it in 7, and we're going to get that rematch from last year's incredible semifinal between Brooklyn and Milwaukee in the second round.
I'm not going to say what I usually say when I hate a team in the playoffs, because every single time I do, they win the championship. On any sport, they always win the championship.
Really?
Every single time. Raptors, Nationals.
Just the Raptors and Nationals?
Well, I've only said it twice.
That's not a big enough sample size for you to make that claim.
It's big. I am superstitious. It's big enough.
Yeah, you got to have like 3 or 4 instances of it, and then you can say that.
The reason I like the Celtics is they got the defensive player of the year over there. That guy can lock Kyrie down. Kyrie can't lock him down, though. And Marcus Smart's going to give you 10 assists a night. Jason Tatum's going to give you easily 20, 25. If he's not giving you it, Jaylen Brown's giving you 20, 25. I think I can count on Boston's. I think I can count on Boston's role players a little more than I can count on Brooklyn's role players, because just like last night, there is plenty of my friends who had Seth Curry scoring 7 points last night in their parlays. The guy had 0 points, 0 for 4. Bruce Brown. You never know what Bruce Brown you're going to get. There's nights where Bruce Brown comes out and scores 20 plus. There's nights where Bruce Brown goes 0 for 8.
Yeah.
There's nights where I see Andre Drummond come out and have 12 rebounds. There's nights where I come out and see Andre Drummond come out and have 2 rebounds in 1 point. So I you don't know what Brooklyn team you're going to get. Boston, they had their struggles at the beginning of the season, but then it was just like they all just connected, and it's been, even in their losses, it hasn't been like they've been getting blown out. They've come together as a team, and I believe that they will be Brooklyn.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to see Brooklyn win.
I don't think anybody wants to see Brooklyn win. Unfortunately, based on how the Nets were looking last night, it's going to be tough for Boston.
Yeah.
Moving on to the West, Phoenix has the bye. They're either going to get the Spurs,
or the Pelicans.
The Spurs, Pelicans, or the Clippers. And no matter who they get, I think they're winning.
Yeah, they're going to smash any of them.
Crazy. 4 versus 5 seed, Dallas and Utah. So you've got the always consistent Jazz versus a Dallas team that lives and dies by Luka,
who they don't have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Utah as much as I hate like Utah. Like I just don't. You know how you look at some of those teams and you're just like, Utah it just looks weird. Like they shouldn't even be a basketball team. Like that's how I feel about Utah. But I'll take Utah.
You know what's funny? That's the exact same reaction I get when I look at them. Like Utah and Denver are 2 teams. Like it's weird because they're like, arch rivals out in the Midwest in the Rocky Mountains. Those are 2 teams that like I can name like 5 players from them combined.
Yeah, exactly. Like
they don't have the massive big name star powers. They've got good players, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, Jokic. They have some other players.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. But they're so good and so consistent. Like every single season, no matter what, and you look back on NBA history, this has always been the case. Denver and Utah have always been really, really good. They have a combined 2 finals appearances. These 2 teams are basically just ridiculously consistent throughout the regular season and the playoffs, but they never can, finish it out.
Like the Rays.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You threw me off, Kylie. Why do you have to bring up the Rays? But yeah, I give me Utah in 5. Without Luka, this Dallas, I have very, very little hope for Dallas.
I'm
Utah
calling
in
it
5.
A clean sweep.
Utah with the clean sweep. That's a bold assumption. Golden State is taking on Denver, so you've got the reborn Warriors, attempted reborn Warriors. Versus the presumptive MVP, unfortunately. So who's taking this series?
Give me Golden State against Mr. Perfect Attendance.
Give me Golden State in 6.
I'll take Golden State in 7. I think Denver will push it to 7.
Sweep.
I really like Jokic. He's very dominant, but like you said, Isaac, I don't really know who else is in Denver. Like, yeah, they're a good team, but like, I can't count on Denver.
Yeah.
Denver is like, if you guys know, the Nuggets have never been to a finals before.
Yes.
Like I was looking back on that. I was like, I could have sworn they really never been. It's like, no, they've never been. And the Nuggets have always been good in some way. They've always had a really good team. Even like during the 70s and 80s, when I couldn't name a single player they had on that team, like they were always making the playoffs and always going on deep playoff runs.
The year they had a great chance, Kobe Bryant ruined them. That year they had AI and Melo, J.R. Smith.
Yeah.
Nuggets were crazy that year.
Speaking of Kobe, this is the let me get the actual 6-year anniversary of Kobe dropping 60 in his final game.
Has it really been 6 years?
It's been 6 years.
That's crazy. I was in high school when that happened. I was a senior in high school watching that game.
Time flies.
That's wild. I don't like that.
And it's been almost 3 years since he's been gone. It's been 2.5 years.
I'm going to be showing my kids, when I have kids in the future, I'm going to be showing my kids that final game and be telling them, like, you're watching one of the greatest performances ever. Not many players get to go out on top. Like, Peyton Manning went out on top, but
it wasn't a good game by him, really.
No, the defense carried him in that game, Tom Brady was supposed to go out on top, but we're working on that.
As long as he gets out, I don't care.
Hold on. Last episode I was here, though, we were talking about how you guys had no quarterback. He came back and surprised us.
Yeah, he answered our prayers. No, what happened was Bucs management convinced him to come back because they realized how many free agents they had, and were like, "Hey, we're going to be trash. Can you come back for one more year so we can just, make sure we can fix this free agency situation?"
Yep.
No,
There's a rumor / conspiracy related to that whole thing.
we can get into that a little later when we get to talk about football. I'm curious, but we have one more game of basketball to discuss, and that is Memphis and Minnesota. And I think we already touched on this a bit. As much as we would all love the Timberwolves to, win a playoff series for the first time since 2004.
Memphis is just too hot.
sweep. Memphis sweep.
Memphis in 7.
Ooh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Memphis in 7.
Mhm.
That's
Kylee, you gotta explain yourself there.
No, I don't.
Oh no, hold up.
It's just this weird feeling.
Hold up. You can't just drop these massive hot takes and then not back them up with facts. All right. You don't hear me saying stuff
It's just
and
a
then not trying to
feeling.
defend myself.
It's just a feeling.
It's just a feeling.
I love the young cats that the Timberwolves have over there, but 7 games.
Yeah, I mean, Minnesota's a good team. Like last night, against the Clippers, they proved like this is a team that can fight. But
Neither team has been to the playoffs. Really, with their core, neither core has been to the playoffs. They are both.
have you not watched the Grizzlies over the past month?
Yeah, I went to a game.
The only team better than them has been Phoenix. Like there's only one team better than them in the entire league, and it's Phoenix. Okay,
Yeah,
this Grizzlies team is going to the conference finals.
This is the thing. Phoenix is not 26-2 without their star player Devin Booker.
Yeah,
that is true too.
This is 26-2 without Ja Morant, which is crazy.
So, before we move on to football, or did you want to add something, Calvin?
No, I was just gonna say I like Memphis in 4 in that series.
Same here, Memphis in 4. So that's our official preview for the playoffs of the first round.
No hot takes for the finals, real quick before we go on.
Oh, let me do that. Finals is going to be my prediction is going to be Philly versus Phoenix. Don't ask me who's going to win because it is going to the wire, but that's my prediction. Philly, Phoenix. Suns trying to finally get one after last year's disappointment. Philly trying to complete the process.
Give me Brooklyn and Memphis.
Ew.
That's that. I like both of those.
It's the unfortunate thought I have in my head with Brooklyn. I think they're just like. I just think it's gonna happen. I don't want it to. I don't want Ben Simmons to get a freaking ring by doing nothing, although it's very fitting for him. I just think it's gonna happen.
I'm gonna shock you guys here. I'm gonna go Phoenix and the Celtics.
Ooh, rematch of the 76 finals. I like that.
How do you just have that on
the 76 finals is one of the best NBA finals ever. It was a Phoenix team that had only been around for less than 10 years that shocked everybody by going to finals against them. It's a computer up here. I know this.
Yeah, clearly, because Calvin's just Boston, Phoenix, and you're just 76. What?
76. You should look 76 finals just consider one of the greatest NBA finals ever. It was this Phoenix team that came out of nowhere. This team is an expansion team that hadn't even been around for less than 10 years that shocked everybody by going to the finals versus the mighty Celtics, who they still had some players from that 60s dynasty, but it was mostly a bunch of old guys, and they all were like, all right, this is probably the last time we're going to make a run before we have to completely rebuild. It was great. The air conditioning broke in the Boston Garden. The games were playing 100-degree heat. It was amazing.
See, and this is why I love coming on this podcast, because every time, I promise you, Isaac educates me about something.
What?
I love sports history for that. You come to me for sports history, I'll bring it up. I know this stuff. No, but no,
literally. So yesterday when we were at work, we were talking about a NASCAR race I went to. And when I was a kid, my uncle took me, and there was this crazy crash. And he was like, "Was it this year or this year?" And I was like, "It's probably this year." He pulled up the right one. Instantly.
To be fair, that's one of my favorite accidents in this. But yeah, okay. Look. When it comes to pinpointing events in sports history, I got you. That's my thing.
it's weird because Calvin's just like, this is a hot take right here, a bold one, right? And you're just like 1976 rematch. Like,
hey, it helps when a team hasn't been to the finals a lot. Like Phoenix has only been 3 times, so you can pinpoint all 3. That's just how it is. I will say this: no matter who goes to the finals this year, the NBA will lose once again because a small market team is going. No matter if it most likely from the Western Conference. The NBA is probably really annoyed. It's like, dang it, none of our big market West Coast teams are going to be competitive in this year's playoffs.
Which is good.
They're probably like, for the love of God, Golden State, please go. We need a big market team. I would like to see Golden State Philly. That actually would be a cool finals.
That'd be cool.
I don't think that's ever happened before. Maybe. I think they were different. I don't know. Actually, I don't know about that one. That's got to happen. No, I'll check that later.
You're the historian. You got to know these things.
I think that was I think they played once in the 60s, but I think that was back when Philly was in Syracuse and Golden State was in Philly.
That would make sense.
Yeah. The 60s, anything before the 70s is where it gits a little murky because they basically just are like, okay, we know the Celtics were in it because they were always in it, and then it was somebody else. And you just got to figure out, okay, now who was the other team they were playing?
Yeah.
All right. Couple more basketball stuff. Joel Embiid is the scoring champion, but may not win MVP because the voters are skewed to Jokic.
Stupid.
Nah, I think we're all in agreement that it should be Embiid. We already talked about Kobe dropping 60 in his final game. Let Minnesota celebrate.
Yeah, it just kind of irritated me that people were mad that Minnesota was celebrating like they won the finals.
This team hasn't won a playoff game since like Kevin Garnett was there. Let them have their moment.
Exactly. And it's just like, I'm sorry you don't understand a team struggling throughout their history. Okay, I'm sorry you don't understand that. But some people are loyal to their teams and that are like crappy teams. It's okay to let them celebrate.
Marley, please be quiet.
See, the dog agrees.
Yeah,
I like that the dog agrees too.
The dog agreed with you.
Now, the NBA also revealed the logo for the 2022 finals, which I'm pulling up now. Ooh, I like it.
I like it.
This is my live reaction to seeing this. I like it. It's
the old font.
I wish they didn't have the presented by YouTube TV thing at the bottom, but
yeah.
I kind of have to get used to that. Damn sponsorships. It's cool.
Money
it's whatever. Last thing from basketball, and here's our quick goober of the week. Did y'all see last night a woman try to super glue herself to the floor during the Timberwolves game?
It was weird.
I've seen a lot.
She was protesting or something.
Do we know what she was protesting? That's the thing.
I haven't found it yet.
A lot of crazy people in this world, man.
I've seen a lot of people run onto the field or in courts during sporting events before. I don't think I've ever seen somebody try to stick themselves to the surface.
Like, did she think it was like instant glue or cement or something? Like, it wasn't gonna work.
Yeah, that doesn't work like that at all.
Like what?
Let's quickly talk about some stuff happening in NFL. Free agency and the offseason's kind of calmed down a little bit, but there was a couple of big things that happened. First, let's get this one out of the way because it was quick. Derek Carr has been extended to a 3-year, $121.5 million contract. What do we think of this? Deserving?
Yes.
100%. Derek Carr's not a bad quarterback.
No.
Derek Carr, he's he hasn't won playoff games and stuff like that, but he's done enough over there. He's taking care of business. He puts up enough stats and statistics to deserve that money there. And now with Devontae Adams, he should definitely make some noise.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say this:
they don't Raider it.
As somebody who doesn't like the Raiders, because Chiefs fan have to support my team. Yeah, I like it. Derek Carr, I like him as a quarterback.
He's a great person.
Yeah, he is. And he's given the city of Las Vegas. He's helped the city of Las Vegas rally around the Raiders. I was concerned that when the Raiders showed up, Las Vegas would kind of be like, I mean, you're just a fad. But no, they actually seem to have really rallied around it. I'll always stay true to the belief that the Raiders belong in Oakland, but
yes,
they're making their case. In a more important NFL news, though, the Congress has told the Federal Trade Commission in a letter that the Washington Commanders may have broken financial laws. We could be seeing the end of the Dan Snyder era finally.
Finally.
Hallelujah.
And I mean, Calvin, you're the Commanders fan. Let's hear it. Like, what do you think about these new allegations that the Redskins? Okay, the Redskins are like they're withholding money from season ticket holders and the NFL and other teams.
I just think it's quite crazy, but it just shows another what's the right word for this here? I don't even know.
Character trait.
Yeah, another character trait of Dan Snyder. The guy is just everybody knows he's a complete wacko. He's always been. Only thing he cares about is money. So it's not surprising. I can definitely say that it's definitely not surprising at all. But it's time to get this guy out of here. And he keeps overcoming all these. Like, he's never faced consequences for his actions.
No.
Every time he overcomes his consequences somehow. It's time to let this guy face consequences for his actions and get rid of him, because it's just incredible at this point.
It's amazing that he was able to get away with so much, and now this is what's finally going to get him in. It's kind
of
like
mom thinks he has dirt on people in the NFL.
He 100% does, because the amount of stuff that the Commanders organization has gotten away with in the past few years that hasn't gotten him removed, like NFL owners have been removed for less. You know, I mean, Jerry Richardson of the Panthers, there was one sexual harassment case, and they got rid of him. Like, Dan Snyder has to hold something against the NFL. That's the only way he's still around. And I'll say this much about it. It kind of reminds me, this is funny, you're going to like this comparison. It kind of reminds me of the downfall of Al Capone. The legendary gangster, the head of the Chicago crime families, did all of this terrible stuff. You know what finally got him? Tax evasion. Yeah. Because after all of this crazy stuff, coming out about the Commanders, mistreatment of cheerleaders, the terrible status of their stadium, the mistreatment of players, the mishandling of the health of certain players. It's finally going to be, money that puts them away. Because, the world revolves around money.
Yep.
Just in time to get a new culture for Carson Wentz.
And a brand new stadium that they're looking to put in Virginia, close to Richmond, because that's clearly the nation's capital, right?
That would be the day I'm not a Commanders fan anymore. Once we're Virginia Commanders, I retire.
Just demolish RFK and build a new stadium on the site. Land is right there. They've used it before. You get RFK Stadium 2, Electric Boogaloo. There you go.
I remember going to games in RFK, both nationals. Only nationals.
I never got to go to RFK, but that's a stadium I wish I did. I have been to Nationals Park, and I will say this much. There is no shade in that stadium at all. Do not go in the middle of summer. If you're going to a summer game, go at night. If you go during a day game in the summer, you will burn.
Yep.
Like, how
that at Citizens Bank Park, too.
That's why I like Yankee Stadium. Everything's enclosed, shady. I like it.
I've only been to 3 stadiums baseball-wise, and that was the Mets, Nationals, Orioles, and actually, you know what? I went to the Red Sox too.
Really?
Ooh. How was Fenway Park?
Was from Boston.
Oh, true. That makes sense.
That's actually a good coincidence. I'm going to Boston this weekend for spring break.
I've been to Toronto, obviously Philly, Camden Yards, Nats Park, and Yankee Stadium.
Yankee Stadium, Camden Park, Nats Park. It's only 3.
Toronto was cool.
I want to go to more. I want to go to some of the indoor ones to see what they're like. Arizona's stadium is supposed to be really good. Like, that's a stadium that was built in the late 90s and still holds up well today. That's the one that started the trend.
That's one of my goals this coming year, is actually to get to at least 2 stadiums that I have not been to for baseball.
There's a lot along the East Coast I want to check out. I would at some point in my life like to check out some of the West Coast ones, especially the Mariners. Is that and in Milwaukee? Ooh, Milwaukee Stadium is nice too. Miller Park.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go to the Rocky Stadium. Rockies Park. I want to go to that one.
Yeah. So we got one last sport to talk about. Hockey. Not a lot happened news-wise in the hockey world this week. But what did happen is that we've only got a couple weeks left in the season. We're on the final stretch before the playoffs. most of the playoff matchups have pretty much been set. They may fluctuate a bit depending on seeding, but most of the teams have been set. And the current playoff matchups that we have are as follows. So if the playoffs started today, we would get the Panthers versus the Capitals, Maple Leafs versus Lightning, Hurricanes versus Bruins, and Rangers versus Penguins in the East. And in the West would be the Avalanche and the Stars, Wild and Blues, Flames and Predators, and Oilers versus Kings. What just happened? What did I miss?
Nimmo home run.
Of course, it's freaking Nimmo too. Like, God, can we trade Aaron Nola for a pack of fucking peanuts?
Oh, I do love live reactions on this.
Yeah,
on this
I was just about to say they're getting a lot of live reactions today. Ever since the Carson Wentz trade broke live on the show, every time we get a live reaction, it's great. I love it. Let's go back to those first round matchups though. Who was the first guys you said over there?
So our first matchup would have been, and this isn't yet set yet. Again, there's still a couple weeks left, but the teams have pretty much been set. Got very top heavy at the end. So in the East, the first matchup would be the Panthers versus the Capitals. Capitals would be the wild card team in the East, taking on the dominant Florida Panthers. Yeah, no, I mean, it would be very Panthers-like to blow it, and I think they might get the Capitals are a team that I think would be the perfect team to do it. But the Panthers have been so good this year.
You know what? I'm gonna go back now and say the Capitals just because you said that.
It's the Panthers just have a really bad history of going on really great seasons out of nowhere and then just blowing it.
Oh yeah, no, trust me, I've seen the Panthers blow leads in the regular season. I've seen them be up 3-0 and they lost the game 4-3 or 5-3, and it's like you were just up the whole entire game. How are you going to lose the game in the last period?
And the Capitals are getting hot too. Like last night they were playing the Flyers, and I know it's the Flyers. I know that's not exactly not exactly the best team, but they were up 3-1 at the end of the first period. Like this Capitals team is really, really heating up at the right time.
Yep.
The second matchup in the East would be Maple Leafs versus Lightning. Y'all know who I'm rocking with. Go Lightning. But that's a really tough matchup because that is a Maple Leafs team that has been on fire.
Yeah, that's a dogfight there.
Will they finally get past the first round?
Oh, no.
I want to say Maple Leafs. I think I'm going to go Maple Leafs on this round.
It would be awesome to watch the Maple Leafs finally get past the first round for the first time in years.
But it'll be against their team.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this Lightning team is posed for a three-peat. So dynasty awaits. Let's go Lightning. Next up, we got the Hurricanes, who haven't locked down the Metropolitan Conference yet. They could, but they're in a dogfight. They would be up against the second wildcard team, the Bruins.
I like the Boston. The Bruins haven't really impressed me too much. I'd say Hurricanes.
I'm a big Taylor Hall fan, so give me Boston.
Boston looked really good for much of the season, but they've kind of struggled a bit down the stretch. That being said, though, I mean, Hurricanes, yeah. Rangers versus Penguins is the other East matchup, and for all of our Caps fans out there, for everyone who's a hockey fan out there, here's two teams that not a lot of people outside of those cities like. It's really just a pick your poison case. But
as
I
a Devils
personally
fan, give me Pittsburgh.
I think
I go Pittsburgh.
I'll take the Rangers on this one. Then again, with how wild the Metropolitan has been, it could very well be that either the Penguins or Rangers get the top seed out of nowhere, because it's just been wild how competitive it's been down the stretch. Over in the West, the matchups we have so far. So the Avalanche have clinched the number 1 overall seed. So the Avalanche will face a wildcard team, and right now it looks like it's going to be the Stars. Central Division, by the way. Central Division is going to have 5 of the 8 teams in the West in the playoffs. They have taken over. Right now, the Avalanche look like they would face off against the Dallas Stars, which that's an Avalanche sweep if I've ever seen one, because this Stars team is they're kind of just there because the Pacific collapsed. The other matchup would be Wild versus the Blues, which seems to be a matchup almost every year in the first round. If you haven't, if you follow hockey, it's like, it's always St. Louis and Minnesota.
Give me Minnesota.
I'll take Minnesota too.
Yeah, I go Minnesota too.
So the other side of the West, the Flames, who have taken the top seed in the Pacific, would face off against the Predators. That's a Flames sweep, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then it would be the Oilers and the Kings for the other matchup, which
The Kings are very sneaky.
Yeah.
I'm still mad about 2011, so go Oilers.
I think the Oilers will win, but it's going to be competitive.
Definitely.
Now, those who have been listening for a while are probably thinking, what happened to the Golden Knights? Weren't the Golden Knights like firmly in the playoff picture? No, Vegas has completely collapsed and have fallen out of the playoffs. That whole controversy during the trade deadline apparently was the beginning of the end. The Golden Knights are finally acting like an actual expansion team for the first time in their history. And, they have completely fallen off. So,
hate
wonderful.
to see it.
We only got a couple weeks left of hockey. Once playoffs ramp up, that's going to be exciting because playoff hockey is the best.
Yes.
With that being said, though, it's time to get into our special little fun segment at the end where we do our Goobers of the Week. Who won it all that year on 2 Facts and a Lie? So, Kylie, who are our Goobers of the Week for this week?
All right. So, congratulations to Rob Manfred, as always.
Yep.
Jokic for MVP, people. You guys are wrong. And anybody giving the Wolves shit for being hyped about the playoffs, cry about it.
And I would also add Lady who glued herself.
And Lady who glued herself on the court, yes.
Yeah, that was stupid. All right.
So who won it all, Isaac?
All right, so I had a little bit of difficulty trying to figure out what year to do this time. Last time we did 2008, and I picked that because the Phillies won it all. I thought that would be easy. I wanted to go back to a year a while back, but I was like, that's going to be a little difficult. But then I had an idea. This is going to be a fun one. Now, Calvin, if you haven't done this yet, it's simple. I'm going to give you a year. You got to give me who won all 4 major championships plus the 2 big college titles, football and basketball.
Okay.
I picked the year that here's the year I picked. I just want to double check this. Kylie, what year were you born?
98.
Calvin, what year were you born?
97.
Okay, 97. I was born 1998. We'll go with 1998. So, the 1998 season. This is going to be a little tough, but I'll give you, if you know the state of sports at the time, you will get these.
Super Bowl, Cowboys.
Go outside and touch some grass. No.
No.
Oh my gosh. All right.
I swear to God, it was 98.
Okay. Well, basketball should be easy. Who won the NBA Finals in 1998?
Should be Chicago.
Chicago.
Yep. That was the last dance here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So that's one. All right. There's another easy one. Who won the World Series?
Yankees.
Yes. It was the Yankees Empire era. We beat there's a surprise. We beat the Padres. San Diego has been to World Series before. We absolutely obliterated them. This one might be a little difficult. Who won the Stanley Cup?
Not the Blackhawks, right?
Was not the Blackhawks.
Not the Red Wings?
It was the Red Wings.
It is the Red Wings.
Yeah. That was the Red Wings dynasty era. Here's something fun. You know who they beat that year? The Caps. Yeah,
they did.
That was the Caps. That was the goalie Caps who just randomly made it to the playoffs one year, made it to the finals. Now finally the Super Bowl. This is a toughie. I'll give you a hint. This team had just won the Super Bowl the year prior. They repeated. This Super Bowl was going to be very competitive. But 2 things happened. A team that the team that should have been the other team in the Super Bowl didn't make it because of something really stupid that happened to the NFC Championship game. And the team that did make it instead and lost because one of their players got caught hiring a prostitute. And it threw the entire team off.
See, something happened to my connection here, so I don't know what was said before that, but
I'll repeat. So to give you a hint on who won the Super Bowl this year, the team that should have been the team that this team faced that they beat never should have been there because of something stupid that happened in the NFC Championship game. And also that same team lost the Super Bowl not because of their on-field performance, but because one of their players was caught soliciting a prostitute the day before the game, and it threw the whole team off.
Oh, I know that's the Bills.
It's not the Bills.
What?
98.
Oh, I know they didn't win the Super Bowl. I'm talking about the ones that lost.
I feel like I was just talking about the 98 Super Bowl with somebody the other day, too. That's the crazy thing.
The Super Bowl has been considered one of the worst ever because of just how stupid it ended up being. Let me give you guys another hint. A legendary quarterback ended his career with this game.
Broncos.
Got it.
Wow, John Elway.
John Elway's final game. They should have played the 98 Vikings. Yeah, they were playing the Falcons. They should have played the 98 Vikings. But the Vikings, their kicker, who had been perfect all year, missed a go-ahead field goal in the final seconds of the NFC Championship game. The Falcons made it instead. And before the game, Eugene Robinson, the star safety for the Falcons, was caught soliciting a prostitute. The Falcons' whole game was thrown off. The Broncos just attacked Robinson on every passing play and completely blew them out.
Wow.
Yeah. Now here's the hard one. Who won the college titles in 98?
I want to say Duke.
For basketball?
It wasn't Duke, but it was a blue blood, and I think they actually beat Duke.
Kentucky?
Got it.
Was it USC for football?
It was not USC for football. I'll give you a hint. Peyton Manning would have won a title. Yeah, there we go. Peyton Manning Tennessee surprisingly won the title after Peyton Manning left. Don't ask me how.
Interesting.
That's how weird sports are sometimes.
I don't think of Tennessee ever being successful like that, though.
Yeah, they were really good during the Peyton Manning years. But yeah, it's weird. They have not done anything since winning the 98 championship. All right.
No, they haven't.
Kylie, give us 2 facts and a lie.
All right. So I'm going to give you 2 facts, 1 lie. You got to figure out which one is the lie. All right.
Gotcha.
So the first one, Major League Baseball umpires are required to wear black underwear while on the job in case they split their pants. Number 2, the actual playing time in an MLB game is 9 minutes and 55 seconds, despite routinely finishing at around 3 hours. And finally, the average MLB player uses 1 bat for 15 at-bats, like per 15 at-bats.
This is a tough one.
I want to say the at-bat one is the lie.
I mean, bats break a lot.
Yes.
But that frequently?
I don't think they wouldn't break that frequently if they're built well. I feel like that first one is true just because I don't think I've ever seen a referee split their pants. And if that's the case, but it's bound to have happened.
Second one is true too. That 9 minutes and 55 seconds.
I don't know about that one though, because like the only reason I think I'm not entirely sure about that one is just because, maybe. So when you say actual playing time, Kylie, you mean like when the ball gets hit, right?
Like when, like the equivalent of football when the ball is like.
So every time a pitch is thrown?
I don't know the whole thing with it.
Okay. Well, then that's got to be true.
Yeah, I'm going to say the bat thing is the lie.
I'm going to have to agree with him. The bat thing. No. Yeah, bat thing.
Final answer, bat?
Yeah.
That is correct. The average baseball player uses 1 bat per 10 at-bats.
Wait, it's lower?
It's lower, which is 16,500 bats used each season.
Jeez.
Average.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's kind of a waste of wood when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you're not even taking into account bats that are used during batting practice or like, just regular practice or, warm-ups.
Well, those probably won't break because the balls aren't being thrown fast. You're just being tossed them. So it's probably not going to affect that much. Because when you have a ball getting thrown almost 100 miles an hour and you make contact with it, not much is going to stop it.
Not really.
So, I mean, but yeah, that was the lie. And it's lower.
Wow.
That's
I
insane.
really want to look into that second thing though about the 9 minutes and 55 seconds because that's actually kind of crazy. I'd like to know about that. It's
I
interesting.
know.
Yeah, that just seems like too good to be. That just seems way too short.
Yeah. Well, the ML football games are like 15 minutes ish, I think. Something like that.
If you didn't have timeouts and stuff, I could understand the football thing being 15 minutes. Like if you just let people just run all the way through, no timeouts, clock didn't stop, you
Yep.
probably could get through an NFL game in like 15 to 30 minutes.
Probably.
But you got to make it longer for it to actually be worthwhile going to the game.
Exactly. For the entertainment.
Exactly.
That's how you make your money.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Final question, Calvin. What do you got going on for bets?
I'm actually not looking too good right now. I need the Braves to give me some type of rally here. I have them not losing by more than 1 point, and they're down 3 right now.
Oh, God.
I have the Cubs not losing by more than 3. I think they're actually winning right now.
Cubs are up. No, Cubs are down 2-6 to the Pirates.
Oh, wow. Of course. So
what on earth is happening?
Hey, that's another one not looking too good. Guardians, I have them not losing by 2 points. What's that looking
They're
like
up
right
3-0 on the Reds.
Okay, beautiful. So that's looking green. That'll make me some money. Mets, I have Mets winning.
Well, they are.
Yeah, they're
Yep.
up 2-0 right now. Bastards.
Red Sox Tigers is tied at 1-1 in the top of the fourth.
I have Red Sox not losing by 2. I have the Dodgers winning.
Dodgers are up 3-0, so looking good.
I have the Astros winning tonight. I have the Padres not losing by 3 tonight. Oakland not losing by 3 tonight. Blue Jays not losing by 2. Brewers not losing by 1, and White Sox not losing by 2. So I got a couple bets in today. I'll probably make money on right now one of them looks like I won't make money on them because I need the Braves to come back and give me something. But straight bet wise, I'll make a little bit of money today. Parlay wise, it looks like the Braves may end me. And then I got a couple bets where I have players getting hits, but that's not looking too good right now either. I guess who I picked today didn't want to come play baseball.
It happens sometimes.
Yeah. So I got Matt Olson, Ian Happ, Stephen Kwan, Mark Conha, Rafael Devers, Chris Taylor, Alex Bregman, Eric Hosmer, Ji-Min Choi, George Springer, Anthony Santander, and Luis Robert all getting a hit today.
Well, Stephen Kwan is at least guaranteed a hit.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. So I'll make money off a couple of those hitters there, but
Yeah. Looking like an off day though. In the beginning.
yeah, it's that's how it is with gambling though. It's hit or miss,
Yeah.
Like opening day, I had a full sweep, didn't have one wrong answer on opening day, but
Wow.
yeah, I had 17 picks opening day and all 17 hit.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's a lot of picks too. Damn. Dude, as always, thank you for coming on. It's been fun. That concludes this week's episode of the Sportsgasm Podcast. If y'all liked what you heard, tune in next week. Maybe check out that support button. Help us grow and improve. You can watch this whole thing and more on YouTube. Do not forget to follow us on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. They're all at Sportsgasm Pod. We'll be asking questions for future episodes and posting them on the socials as well. See you guys next week. Thanks, Calvin.
Hey, thank you again for having me, guys. And like I said, very happy to see the growth you guys are getting here and hope it continues to grow.
Appreciate it, man.
We appreciate the love, man. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Make sure you keep interacting with us on all of our social medias. Thank you once again, Calvin, for showing up. And let's hope that the Yankees win so I can, be cool and not lose my shit in the middle of a Boston bar tomorrow night.
Go Phillies.
That's over Phillies.
No.
We'll talk about it later.
All right. Peace.
See you on Twitter later, Calvin.